Let's start sketching the gasket on the front plane. Activate the line command and draw at an angle to the right. Then switch to arc by pressing the A key. After drawing the arc, draw another line along the inference line. This will automatically add a tangent relation. Continue switching between arc and line, repeating the process to build the full shape, just like this. Finally, press the ESC key to exit the command. In theory, if we follow the inference lines correctly, we should be able to create a perfectly symmetric sketch right from the start. However, in practice, this can be tricky. It's often easier to focus on completing the sketch shape first, then add the missing relations afterward, rather than trying to get everything perfect while drawing. If any relations are missing, we can always add them after completing the sketch. Turn on View Sketch Relations to show existing relations in the sketch. The green squares indicate existing relations. To ensure smooth transitions between arc and line, we can add a tangent relation. Click on a point where two entities meet. The context toolbar will appear. Click Make Tangent to apply the relation. Now let's ensure our sketch is symmetrical by adding equal relations. Click on the first line, hold down Control, and select the second line. In the context toolbar, click Make Equal. Repeat this for the other two lines. Next, click on the first arc, hold Control, and select the second arc. Again, click Make Equal to apply the relation. Now, let's define the positions of the points on the arcs to ensure proper alignment. Select the points on the arcs while holding down Control, then assign a horizontal relation. Repeat to assign a vertical relation. Additionally, the center of the lower arc should have a vertical relation with the origin. The centers of the two upper arcs should have a horizontal relation with the origin. At this point, our sketch should look like this. You can see that all the necessary equal, tangent, horizontal, and vertical relations are in place, keeping the sketch symmetrical. Now here's a question. Is this the best method? Instead of drawing arcs directly, would it be better to first create a rough shape and then add sketch fillets separately? Let's test it out. First, let's clear the sketch so we can try a different approach. Click and hold the left mouse button to create a selection box. Make sure the box covers all sketch entities. Press the Delete key on the keyboard to remove them. Now let's try a different approach. Activate the line command. Start sketching the basic shape. Just focus on the overall structure for now. Follow this pattern to create the outline, like this. Now let's define the necessary relations. Select the midpoint of the top line and the bottom point, then assign a vertical relation with the origin. Select the side points and assign a horizontal relation with the origin. Finally, select pairs of equal length lines. Hold Control key and click Make Equal in the context toolbar. Now let's smooth out the sharp edges using Sketch Fillet. Go to the Sketch tab and click Sketch Fillet. Use the selection box to select the two top corners. If a notice appears, simply click Yes. Set the fillet radius to 10 mm and click OK. Select the two middle corners, assign a 20 mm fillet radius and click OK. Finally, click the bottom point. Set the fillet radius to 40 mm and confirm with OK. Press ESC key to exit the command. Alright, now let's fully define our sketch by adding dimensions. Turn on Smart Dimension. Select the middle of the top arc and assign a distance of 60 mm. Click on the middle of the bottom arc and line in the top, then set the height to 95 mm. Click Zoom to fit and adjust the zoom in for better view. Finally, select the middle of the left arc and the middle of the right arc. Then set the total width to 140 mm. Notice that our sketch is still underdefined? We can check what's missing by simply dragging the sketch. If it moves, that means we need to add more constraints. To fully define it, let's set a coincident relation between the center of the bottom arc and the origin. Select the center of the lower arc. Hold Ctrl and select the origin. Click Make Coincident in the context toolbar. Great! Notice how the sketch has turned black? That means it's fully defined, meaning all the necessary dimensions and constraints are in place. You can also check the status bar at the bottom right. It should confirm that the sketch is fully defined. You also might have noticed many green squares in the sketch. These represent the sketch relations. While they're useful, sometimes they can clutter the view. To improve readability, we can hide the automatic relations. Go to Hide Show Items. Click View Sketch Relations to turn them off. If needed, repeat the steps to turn them back on later. This helps keep our workspace clean while working on complex sketches. Now let's talk about the holes in our gasket. Technically, we could sketch them in the same profile and extrude everything in one operation. But this is not a good practice. Why? Because we cannot check the blank material. If the holes are part of the same extrusion, we lose the ability to analyze the base shape separately. No separate feature in the design tree. This makes it harder to modify or configure the holes later. No way to validate hole alignment in assemblies. If we need to check how these holes align with other components, keeping them separate helps maintain design intent. Instead, it's best to create the base shape first and add the holes in a separate operation, which gives us more flexibility and control. Now that we understand the importance of keeping the features separate, let's go ahead and extrude the sketch first. Go to the Features tab and select Extruded Boss Base. Enter an extrusion depth of 3 mm. Click OK to complete the operation. Now that we've extruded the base shape, let's add the holes. Click on the front face of the model to bring up the context toolbar and select Sketch. Activate the Circle command and draw a circle at the origin. This will automatically create a coincident relation. Assign a diameter of 50 mm to the circle. Go to the Features tab and select Extruded Cut. Choose Through All from the list. Click OK to complete the operation. Alright, let's move on and add 2 more holes on the same face. Draw 2 circles. Move the cursor to the arc, and you'll see a symbol appear at the center of the arc indicating the center point. Click this symbol and start drawing a circle. Do the same on the opposite side to create a second circle. Press the Escape key to exit the command. Now, let's make the circles identical. Select one circle, hold down the Control key, and click the second circle. In the Context toolbar, choose Make Equal to make both circles the same size. Finally, let's give these circles a diameter of 18 mm. Go to the Features tab and select Extruded Cut. Choose Through All from the list. Click OK to complete the operation. Now let's add 2 more holes, located symmetrically above the center hole. Select the front face and click Sketch. Turn on the Centerline command and draw from the origin to the midpoint on the top horizontal line. Turn on the Circle command and draw a circle on the left side of the center line. Now let's make the circles symmetric. Go to the Sketch tab and select Mirror Entities. The Property Manager will appear on the left. Select the circle as the entities to mirror, and choose the center line as the mirror about. Click OK to complete the operation. Let's add the equal relation to the 2 circles. Select the 2 circles by using the selection box. Hold down left-click and move the cursor to cover both circles. Once both circles are selected, the Context toolbar will appear. Click Make Equal from there to assign the equal relation. This ensures both circles are the same size. Now let's add dimensions to the circles and complete the cut. Turn on Smart Dimension. Select a circle and set the diameter to 8 mm. Next, set the distance between the 2 circles to 40 mm. Lastly, set the distance from the circles to the origin to 40 mm. This fully defines the sketch, which will be indicated by the black color of the lines. Once the sketch is fully defined, go to the Features tab and select Extruded Cut. In the Property Manager, choose Through All from the list. Click OK to complete the operation. Now we have holes on our model and everything is neatly organized in the design tree. Awesome! Now let's save our work. Click Save here. In the File Name field, type Gasket. Hit Save. Alright guys, before we wrap up, just a quick note. When we build parts, they can have more or fewer features depending on the design approach. There's no clear rule which way is better. However, always keep in mind that potential design changes should be considered. More operations might seem like extra work, but having more features usually makes it easier to modify the design later on. It gives you greater flexibility when making adjustments down the line. Another very important feature of modeling in SOLIDWORKS is the ability to use configurations. When you build everything in a single operation, it becomes difficult to isolate or hide specific features. Here it does not matter, but for example, in the design of furniture or sheet metal elements, we are interested in the surface of the raw plate or sheet. Also, in this situation, we won't be able to check it, since it is not easy to turn off the holes. The last key argument for this approach to modeling in SOLIDWORKS is the analogy with real-world manufacturing processes. In actual production, the first step is often to start with a blank material, and then, through various machining operations, we remove material to shape the part. This method of modeling mirrors that order, starting with a solid block or shape and cutting away material to achieve the desired result. It makes the process more intuitive and helps you maintain a closer connection to the practical aspects of how parts are made. However, if you decide to work with multiple outline sketches, it's useful to enable the shaded sketch contours. By turning on this command, you can freely move and overlap sketch areas before dimensioning. The shaded effect makes it easier to differentiate between which sketch is higher or lower in relation to others. This visual cue helps in managing complex sketches and ensuring proper positioning, making the sketching process smoother and more intuitive. If you draw everything in a single sketch, it becomes challenging to exclude specific segments from use later on. This means it's difficult to parametrically toggle features like holes on or off because they aren't created in a separate operation. Keeping operations distinct not only gives you more control over individual features, but also makes it easier to make design changes, such as removing or adjusting holes, without affecting the entire model. To exclude a hole from being used in this design, one option is to edit the sketch and replace the circle contour with a for construction line. We can do this by selecting the circle to bring up the context toolbar where you can select the construction geometry in there, or you can also enable for construction in the Property Manager on the left. Of course, after this change, all segments converted to a center line are not used during the extrude feature. However, this method has limitations. This change cannot be controlled parametrically. Manual adjustments. In large or complex sketches, every change requires manually updating the feature, which can be time-consuming. Potential errors. If multiple features rely on the same sketch, modifying it could unintentionally affect other operations. Another approach to creating similar elements is by drawing circles connected by tangent lines. Once the basic shape is formed, you can refine it by trimming the unnecessary sections using the Power Trim command. With this type of trimming, we simply move the cursor over the sketch segments we want to remove. The segment disappears as you pass over it, and the cursor changes to a stylus icon, indicating that trimming is in progress. This makes the Power Trim command a fast and intuitive way to clean up sketches. Alright guys, that wraps up this exercise with some important notes to keep in mind. Now that we've got this down, let's move on to the next exercise and keep the momentum going. Close the current file and create a new part file. For this exercise, we're going to model a bicycle key. So, let's get started.